So good morning to you. I'm happy to be here, and I've been really contemplating the essence of what I want to share with you today. And as we move forward, this is the revitalizing. Now all of us are in the revitalize your health pillar. And I've been contemplating a foundation that needs to be underneath us before we can move forward. And that foundation is intrinsic worth. And some of us have talked about this more and less. Gabor Mate speaks about this. Alfie Kahn speaks about this a lot to do with parenting. But many of our parents would have had specific qualities that they really admired in us. Let's say we were cute, or we were intelligent, or we were hardworking, or we were the calm one, or we were the kind one, or the creative one, or whatever quality it was that our parents valued in us. And they gave us validation and love, affirmation, and attention when we demonstrated this quality. And we got that kind of attention from parents, or maybe from a coach or a dance teacher, somebody who gave very conditional validation based on our performance of the things we were doing or not doing. And while this can be effective for training someone into behaving the way that you want to, it can be very traumatizing and can set up a lifelong scrambling to try to catch up, to try to get that validation. And as adults, subconsciously, we can be urgently doing everything that we're doing, or a lot of the things that we're doing, to try to get that validation either from ourselves, because we established that that was how you receive a sense of worth or validation or even love. We might be still trying to get that from other people in our lives, either competitors in our field, clients, mentors, parents, teachers, anyone whose affirmation or understanding we're desperately trying to seek. And for some of us, it just actually may be our own. So if we're still doing things to try to get that validation and that worth, then our actions will be limited in their potency, and the process will not be sustainable, because we will inevitably fail and not be able to do what it is that we want and need to get that validation. So I'm curious about these times that you're starting to set up for yourselves, whether it's in the morning or the time that you've chosen, that it be a container for really giving yourself a chance to practice intrinsic self-worth, an intrinsic validation, that you are intrinsically valid, and that you're practicing not doing the meditation or doing the yoga or doing the movement to try to check it off a box so you can say, okay, I'm doing the course well, okay, I'm a good person, okay, I'm finally, not, sucking at whatever I thought I was sucking at. But that is a chance to open up a whole different way of being with yourself that is unconditionally loving, and that isn't really heavy on the thinking side of things. Giving you lots of different things to contemplate and play with. And hopefully, if we're working together in an effective way, it won't lead to you thinking more and being more busy and fast and active in your thinking. Hopefully the contemplation and the practice will unwind some of those more desperate, habitual thinking patterns, so that you can access a different way of being with yourself. Unless that practice of intrinsic value and intrinsic self-worth is the foundation we're standing on, then that foundation, if we don't have that, it's going to be up and down, shaky. And then every day, every practice, every breath, giving yourself a clean slate, giving yourself a fresh start, really giving yourself permission to really start new, and creating that regenerative and revitalizing stance, instead of referencing back to what I said last week, or what you didn't do, or what that person didn't do, or those people that always do this, and why they shouldn't be that way, or why you should be this way, or all the shoulds and shouldn'ts and judgments of them and us. We're really sliding down underneath all of that to a more steady foundation that has to do with unconditional love, intrinsic value and worth. And that being a ground to stand on, to give yourself a clean slate, perpetually to try again and to start again, and to use it as a blank canvas so that you get to be creative and express yourself in how you're using your mind and your body throughout your day, how you're engaging in the ordinary activities, including your movement practice. So I'm going to have a sip of tea. If you have tea or water, feel free to take a sip. So good. And come to your yoga mat. I put on my purple jumpsuit so that you wouldn't take me too seriously. Maybe so that I wouldn't take myself too seriously. Next week, we start the play pillar, so it's gonna get silly. Just to warn you. Okay, here we go. So, we will begin with standing here. All right. So, take a moment to stand and adjust your yoga outfit if you need to. And just take a moment to bring your attention down to your feet. We're going to do some circular movements here. So circular movements are therapeutic and can be really calming to the overachieving, overthinking, perfectionist parts of ourselves. So just taking a moment to choose one of your ankles and create a circular motion around with your ankle. Switching directions if you haven't already. I'm just going to close this window so we don't have any sounds of cars going by. And then switch sides. You can have your hands on your hips and just sway to the other side. Just starting really gentle. Circular motions. Breathing. Waking yourself up. And then switching directions. I'm somebody who has often a sort of grumpy look on my face when I'm not trying to, for a bit of a frown on my forehead and can look sort of serious and intense. So I often just start my practice with a gentle smile, just to create that softness for myself. And this is even if no one's around. Just creating that warmth, that friendly space. You can shake your ankle side to side and up and down, side to side and up and down, and place that foot down, and then we'll shake the other ankle side to side and up and down, side to side and up and down, and then place your feet together with your big toes touching. Hands on your knees and little circles with your knees. So you can just do the movements, and you can be running through your to-do list or being critical of what's inside you or around you. Or you can also do these movements gathering all of your attention into this moment. Use it like a funnel that's calling all the parts and layers of who you are into really drawing a circle with your knees. Not a triangle or a blob or a quadrilateral, a circle with your knees. You can switch directions again. Work at a pace that feels good for you. Nice. And then coming to stand up. Step your feet wide with your knees and toes pointing out on about a 45-degree angle. And you can have your hands on your pelvis. And imagine that your pelvis is full of water. And you're going to draw a figure 8 with your pelvis without spilling the water. You can play with it. Might hear some snap, crackle, pops. So like you've got a tail and it's pointing down, and on that tail there's a little paint, and you're going to draw an 8 on the ground. And then switch directions. Bringing that playful quality, laughing at yourself or at me whenever necessary. Awesome. Nice. And then circular motion with your hips. You can really widen that circle if you want. Don't worry, now spill the water actively to the back, to the side, to the front, to the side, to the back, to the side, to the front, like you're spilling it out here, now spilling it out here, now spilling it out the back, and to the side, and then switch directions, spill it out the back. For me, that's the hardest. The side, the front, and keep breathing all the way. Nice. And then come back up to standing. I'll turn to the side so you can see. You can keep facing me though. And then the shoulders will go forward and up and back and down. Big circles forward and up and back. You can even include your elbows so you've got these wings, like you're growing or fluffing up your wings. Opening across your chest, peeling your shoulders back and down. From the front it would look like this, and then turn your palms to face up and out. Peel your shoulders back. Yes. Opening across your chest. Nice. Keep your head back over top of your body. Lengthen the back of your neck. Nice. And then shake your arms out a little bit, or a lot. You might really shake your arms out. Just shaking out anything that might be tight or rigid to start today. And then with your hands, creating a circular motion. Starting with your pinky fingers. Afuera in flamenco. Adentro. In and out. In and out. I did flamenco dancing in my past life and so fun. Oh my God. In and out. In and out. And then shake it out. Amazing. So this is something from Spiral Dynamic Yoga. Asa actually introduced me to this. So you've got a teacup on your hand and it's full of tea, and you do not want to spill the tea. You've got your toes and knees pointing out on about a 45-degree angle, and you're going to serve some tea for yourself. It'll skim past your waist and then go out, and you're using your whole body to do this. Look at my knees, super juicy. Reaching up and over, side stretch. Now don't spill your teacup. And coming back around, so you're breathing, slide it past your side and out. Really use your whole body, and again in, around, and out, and play with it a little, make it like a dance. Really fluid. One more. Knees juicy. Beautiful, and then pass that teacup to the other side. And now this is also going to go towards you, sliding past your waist, out, behind, up and over. Stretch and try not to spill your beautiful cup of tea. And really use your whole body, so you're really stretching out. You can kind of stand and kind of do this, and it doesn't really do much, but see if you can actively engage your whole body. Knees are bent, stretch out as far that way, and then side stretch this way, and play with it. Let your breath flow through. Nice, and now we'll go the other direction. So with the other hand, we're going to take the tea and serve it out. Tea for everyone. For everyone, up and over this way, and then around and back. And if your mind is playing tricks on you, or it feels tricky, this is also a mind-body integration exercise, so be gentle with yourself. Serve out, and then it comes up and over behind. Side stretch again. Really good for opening up the fascial lines. Stretching out. Fascia is that sticky, spider webby like stuff that connects our nerves and muscles and connective tissue and bones all together, almost like a gluey web. Nice. One more for everyone. Yes, and then other side. And this should be creating some heat in your body, lower belly kissing the spine, and you're serving the tea out. It comes back around and over. Shoulder blade slides down your back. Oh, I might have spilled some tea there. And serving your tea, going up and over. Whoa! Yes. Nice. Oh, good. Stretch. Amazing. And then shake it out. And come stand at the front of your mat. Little circular spiral warm up for you. Standing at the front of your mat with your feet parallel and hip distance apart, we're going to do some sun salutations. On your inhale, reach up and stretch up. Look up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and bow. Let it be really fluid and flowing. Inhale, uncurl and lengthen through the crown. Step back, plant your hands. Center of the palms as wide as your outer shoulders. Inhale, inner body bright. And then exhale, slowly lower down, maybe knees first. Wide cobra, finger stand, get your fingertips awake. Now I just realized I need to move this down just a little bit. Stretch out through your toes. You can stay where you are. Yes, open across your chest. We'll do one more breath here in cobra. Press all 10 toenails down and roll your shoulder blades further down your back. Exhale, plant your hands and slide your hips back to child's pose or downward dog. Anytime you can do child's pose for any reason. Just taking a moment to roll your shoulder blades as far down your back as you can. Let your head go. And if you're in downward dog, pedal your feet slowly. One breath per movement. Enjoy riding your exhales all the way down and ground yourself in this moment. Let downward dog be returning back to that ground of intrinsic value, intrinsic self-worth. Like that is literally the ground that you are standing on, that you can rise up by leaning against and pushing into that steady foundation. Bend your knees, look forward, walk your feet to the front of your mat, plant your feet, uncurl and halfway lift. Exhale, bow, lower belly kissing the spine, flowing through. Inhale, reaching up and stretching up. Exhale, hands meet in prayer. Inhale, arms sweeping up. Look through the ceiling to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips and bow. Look right to your belly button. Inhale, uncurl, sides of the waist long. Exhale, keep the sides of the waist long as you step back to plank position. Fingertips awake. Now don't let your hips sag at all. Exhale, lower down, knees first. Keep that dignity across your chest as you lower all the way down. Wide finger stand, cobra. Inhale, shoulders roll forward and up. Exhale, back and down. One breath here to widen the back of your skull. Exhale, plant your hands, come to downward dog. 5 breaths here. Now look at your hands. Press the mounds of your index fingers down and forward. Plug your arms so far down your back that they plug towards your solar plexus. We think of our arms as plugging into our necks or our shoulders. Plug them further down. Let the shoulder blades slide down your back and let your head go. As you press your hands down and forward, let it lift your inner thighs back and up so the space between your sit bones widens and you breathe and smile and feel the steady ground underneath you rising up, supporting you. Quiet and reliable. Look forward, walk your feet to the front of your mat, uncurl and lengthen. Exhale, bow. Stay rooted as you rise up, reaching up, stretching up. Exhale, hands meet. We'll do one more time, really fluid like a dance. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, wave down like a wave. Move like water. Inhale, uncurl. Exhale, plant your hands, step back. Each transition is alive. Inhale here, exhale, lower down. Maybe you lower your knees, maybe you don't. Fingers stand cobra, wide. Press all 10 toenails down. Inhale, arms roll forward, shoulders roll forward and up and back and down. And now lengthen out your lower back, even 1 millimeter. Exhale, plant your hands, downward dog. Now I'm going to stop talking so you can have 5 breaths to tune into the physical sensations moving through the framework of your body. First, set up your foundation and your alignment. Then release your jaw and listen to your breath as you sense the physical sensations moving through the framework of your body. As you exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and walk your feet to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, uncurl. Exhale, bow. Keep your feet quiet as you rise up, reaching up, stretching up. Exhale, hands meet in prayer. Slide your hips back over top of your ankles. Bring your shoulders back, bring your head back, and feel the space behind you alive. Lean into it. Stretch out your exhale as you stand tall, like a queen. Beautiful. Hands on your hips. Now take a big step back with your right leg to warrior two. So your front heel is going to line up with your back middle arch, and your back toes are going to point forward. Always leave your front foot where it is and turn your back toes forward a bit. And you want your front shin vertical as much as possible. Now wrap that left butt cheek underneath you, and at the same time turn your hips and rib cage to face toward the long side of your mat as much as you can. But don't let that knee cave in. Keep pressing that left knee behind you to the wall behind you. Now, arms tend to come out of the neck here, so see if you can slide them down so they come out of your solar plexus. Really plug the arms down. Beautiful. And then from the base of the heart, stretch out through both hands. Nice. Let your back hand slide down your back leg. Reach that top arm up and over. Side stretch. Goddess. Oh, big breath into that left side of your rib cage. Inhale. Exhale. Float your forearm down onto your thigh. Reach that top arm up and over. Roll your shoulder blade down your back. On your inhale, come back up to goddess. Keep your legs steady. Exhale, side angle. Float your forearm down. Stay calm. Lower belly kissing your spine. Inhale. One more time. Side stretch. Exhale. Float your forearm down. Reach that top arm up and over. Roll your shoulder blades down your back and tip that left rib cage underneath your right. Maybe looking up at your palm. Exhale. Float that top hand down. Turn your hips to face toward the front. And inhale, step your front leg or your back leg to the front and your front leg to the back. So you're setting up warrior two on the other side. So line up your front heel with your back middle arch. Take a moment to set that up. The back toes are pointing forward on a diagonal. And then keep that front shin vertical as you windmill your hands up. Take a moment to set it up. If you need to step your back foot further forward or back, take a moment to set your foundation where you want it. Nice. And then keep that front shin vertical as you turn your hips and rib cage to face toward the long side of your mat. From the base of the heart, stretch out through both of your hands. Listen to your breath in and all the way out. Bend the front knee a little deeper. Now reach that right arm up and over. Side stretch. And then float your forearm down onto your thigh. Reach your left arm up and over. Keep your neck long. And then swing that right hand up and over, side stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Float your forearm down. Lower belly kissing your spine. Waking up your life force. Getting it moving. Inhale. Stretching up and over. Exhale. Spin that palm to face down. Roll your shoulder blades down your back. Let's do one more. Lower back long. Stretch. Oh, feels good. Exhale. Wrap that right rib cage underneath your left, root through your back outer heel and stretch through your fingertips. Great focus. Float your top hand down, step back to plank position. Whew, you should be sweating by now. Inhale here, exhale, lower your knees. Hug your legs together. We're going to do 5 little mini push-ups. Keep your chest wide. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. They can be like really small if you want. But keep your core really strong. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Keep your collarbones wide. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Or you can do the full-on push-up if you're feeling really ballsy and really strong. Yeah, awesome. And then come back to downward dog. Look forward, step your feet to the front of your mat. Halfway lift and lengthen through the crown. And exhale, bow. Lower belly kissing the spine. Root as you rise all the way up. Reach up, stretch up. And exhale, hands meet in prayer. Come back to your breath. Come back to your breath. center yourself within the field of your experience. Awesome. We're getting things moving today. We're going into Malasana. Here we go. So knees and toes pointing out on a 45-degree angle. You guys are amazing. Just in case you have a distorted sense of how awesome you're doing in this process, I'm so blown away by all 5 of the women that I'm working with. I feel like I hit the brilliant creative woman jackpot. I love you, and I'm so delighted by working with each of you, and I hope that you can access that same or deeper delight in your own process. Enjoy it. It's almost half over. So I wouldn't wait till the end to be like, oh, I wish I had enjoyed that more. If you want to. Even the challenges can be enjoyable because you're facing them with intention. So your elbows can be on the insides of your knees, and if you're like, lady, my heels aren't going to go down, they don't have to go down. They can hover, or if you want to, you can put blocks underneath them. You can also be higher up and have your hips like this and knees out to the side. The point is to really be opening up that external rotation so that the legs are moving in this direction. But you can decide if you want your heels up or down, if you want something underneath them. And open across your chest. Roll your shoulder blades down your back and smile or swear if need be. Awesome. And then press the ground away. Come back to the front of your mat. Plant your feet and inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, step your right leg back. Lower your back knee down, and if you have sensitive knees, you can either keep that knee hovering or put a really soft pillow underneath, because we are not trying to toughen up kneecaps. So if you know you need that, take the time to do that now. In this low lunge, get right up onto your fingertips. You're going to use these blocks, so you can use them right now, even if you don't need them. I don't need the blocks, but I find it gives me more space, and that space gives me more room for integrity of alignment and breath. So if I don't have them, it's fine, but if I do, I feel like there's more dignity, more ease, more room for deep breath, and a more meditative space. So I like them, but it's up to you. Inhale here, wrapping that right outer hip forward. Make sure you've got something soft underneath your back knee, or you can have that back leg, the back knee hovering, but don't torture your knee, please. And then flex your front foot, walk your blocks back, or walk your hands back, and you can keep that front knee bent a little. The key is to have the back thigh about vertical. So if like this, you're way further back like me, you can walk your front heel further forward and then curl that right outer hip forward so that if you had lights on your hips, they would face toward the front of your mat. Then get right up onto your fingertips if you want. Stick your butt out, open across your chest, and exhale, bow. Inhale, uncurl, and exhale, bow. Inhale, come back up. Keep your spine long, and then inhale, point, and exhale, flex. And as you flex, it's like you're plugging that left femur bone back into the socket, plugging it back in. Inhale and exhale. Nice. And then keep the exhale flexed. Inhale, uncurl, and exhale, bow. Inhale, uncurl, and exhale, bow. One more time. Lower belly kissing the spine. Feel that pelvic floor rising through the crown of your head, and bow. We'll stay here for one full cycle. Wrap that left butt cheek underneath you. Nice. And then bend that front knee. Move your blocks out of the way. Step your back leg to the front and your front leg to the back. Lower your back knee down onto a very soft cushion if you need it, or keep the back knee lifted if that's what your knee needs. If you want to use the blocks, go for it. Take a moment to set it up. Wrap that left outer hip forward. And you can always look back and see, what's that back leg actually doing? Can it be parallel with the long side of your mat? And wrap that left outer hip forward. And open across your chest. And then exhale, slide back. You want to walk your blocks back so your arms are vertical or close to it. And you want this back femur bone to be vertical. And the emphasis on vertical is because it's easier. Less effort, less muscular energy required. So it's good for conserving energy, and it's easier. So take a moment to line that up, and then you can come onto your fingertips if you want to give you that extra space. And then exhale, bow. Uncurl, inhale. Long spine, exhale, bow. Lower belly kissing the spine. Lift your rib cage up off your hips. And bow. Nice. Now inhale, come back up. And then exhale, really flex. Inhale, point and flex. Point and flex. Point and flex. Now with it flexed, we're going to inhale, lengthen and bow. And then stay here for one deep breath, curling your left outer hip forward. Nice work. Bend that front shin to vertical. Move your blocks out of the way and come into downward dog. So step back to plank position first. Inhale here, and that the distance that your feet and hands are away from each other for plank is close to what you want for downward dog. So instead of stepping far in or out, it would be like within an inch of that is what you want to aim for eventually. So bend your knees and use your hands pressing down and forward to lift your hips up. Sit bones wide, almost like a cat stretching. And then for today, we're going to do a twisty downward dog that lengthens the side of the waist. So turn your toes, all toes, and knees to the right. So your feet are now parallel with the short side of your mat. And then you can come up onto your right fingertips and slide that right outer hip back. So there's an awesome stretch from your right fingertips, right to your right outer hip. And you can breathe, and you're rooting down strong through that left hand. Big breath into the space between your ribs on that right side. Maybe smiling or laughing or letting your head go. And then let's come back to center and we'll switch sides. So turn all toes and knees to face toward the left. Get light on your left fingertips. And come up onto your fingertips and then draw that left outer hip back. So your knees are still bent. And you're drawing that left outer hip back away from your hand. Let your head go. Big breath. Stretching out the space between your ribs and let your head go for one more big exhale. Releasing through your jaw. Awesome. And look forward. Step your feet to the front of your mat. Halfway lift and lengthen through the crown. And exhale, bow the crown to the ground. Feet are rooting down as you rise up. Reach up and stretch up. Exhale, hands meet in prayer. Come back to your breath. Listen to your breath. We're going to come down onto our knees. So I'll do it sideways first. Come down onto your knees and set up your knees so that they're hip distance apart. Tuck your toes under, unless that feels terrible, in which case point your toes and press the tops of your feet down. Press all 10 toenails down. But the feet are active. They're not just kind of flopped there. So take a moment. If you're setting up your feet with them flat, just make sure that they're parallel, that they're not sickling in or out. So setting up for a camel pose. Take a moment to let your pelvis tilt this way, like you're plugging your femur bones back into the sockets. Hands on your hips. Lift your shoulders up and back. Just focus on the opening of your chest here. I like to have my thumbs on my sacrum, so you can feel what that feels like for you, but I like to have the hands quite wide open. And then peel the shoulders back, and instead of pinching them together, try sliding the shoulder blades down your back. Really draw the shoulder blades down your back and open across your chest. And then play with bringing your shoulders further back and your elbows further back. And then imagine the shoulder blades going wide apart and down your back. Nice. Now what would happen if you would lengthen your lower back while you did that, instead of lifting your tail, if you lengthened your lower back? So you want your knees at least as wide as your hips, and then tailbone long, open across your chest, peel your shoulders back. Lengthen your lower back so your tailbone is pointing down. If you have any pain in your lower back, come out of it and just work with the upper chest and shoulders. We want zero pain in the sacrum, spine, or lower back. If this feels good and you want to play with reaching back and holding onto your ankles, go for it. If you don't. If you want to watch and laugh or experiment, go for it.
but make sure you're supporting yourself the whole time, so you can use this moment here to press the tailbone down and lower belly kissing the spine as you come up, opening across your chest, and then come into child's pose. So knees wide, big toes touching. Just take a moment to settle down. If you have another kind of child's pose you like, enjoy it for 3 long, glorious breaths. Exhaling all the way down, centering yourself. Listening to your breath, washing yourself with breath and enjoying your exhales, really enjoying the full length of your exhales all the way down, emptying, emptying, emptying. Then we're going to go into a side plank. So from child's pose, or you can come up to sit, and then we're going to go onto an elbow side plank. So just take a moment to set that up. You want your elbow underneath your shoulder. So make sure that that upper arm is vertical. Flex your feet. So there's a few options of how to do this. Step 1, you flex your left foot and step your right foot out in front of you. So that's one option. And I'll show you what that looks like. Top hand, if you need it on the ground, you can use it, but I find it's easier actually to balance on with my hand on my hip. So you want to make sure this foot is not way out there or out there, that the shin is vertical and the toes are pointing toward the long side of your mat. And then you can press your bottom foot down and then peel that top hip up and back. Peel your shoulders back and reach that top arm up. So here's a side plank. It takes quite a lot. Press your right foot down. Press the outer edge of your left foot down, roll your shoulder blades down your back. If you're feeling like you're really steady here, roll your shoulder blades down your back. If you have shoulder or neck issues, then you can come back down, or you can just stay in that version, or you can do a full side plank, and you might notice your hips tipping to one side, either back or forward, lower belly kissing the spine. Maybe that top arm reaches up and you're breathing for 3, smiling for 2, maybe looking up for 1. And then lower your hips down. Just take a moment to roll onto your belly. Bring your big toes to touch, hands underneath your forehead. Let your heels flop out. Close your eyes and give yourself 3 breaths to dilate all the places that tend to be tight. As I'm saying that, the sky literally opened up and it is pouring rain. So the sky is also dilating and releasing. Softening the space behind your eyes. Enjoying your breath. And we'll do the other side. So I'm going to swing to the other side so I can keep facing you. So this time the right arm is going to be underneath. Oh, the sound of the rain. I wish you could hear it. Can you hear it? Sounds so beautiful. So set up that right elbow underneath the shoulder and flex your bottom foot big time. And then if you want to step out your top foot out in front, go for it. Lift your hips up by pressing that bottom foot down. Make sure you flex it. Press the pinky toe side down. Root down through your elbow, through all your fingertips. Peel your shoulders back. Top hand can be on your hip. Shoulders peel back so there's dignity across your chest. Bring your neck and head back in alignment with your spine. Maybe stack your top foot on top of your bottom. And if you're wavering and wobbling and trembling and you're enjoying it, go for it. Or if it's too much, just come down onto your belly. Roll your shoulder blades down your back. There should be no sharp stabbing pains in your joints, but some good deep throbbing in the belly of the muscle. Lengthen your lower back for 1 more breath. And then slowly lower down. Come onto your belly again. You can have your hands underneath your forehead, big toes touching, heels flopping out. Close your eyes and follow your breath. Follow your exhales all the way down, emptying, emptying, emptying. Long, deep breaths washing right through you. Awesome, and we're gonna do one last plank. It's gonna be a forearm plank, but facing down. So you can set it up. I like to make this shape with my arms. If you prefer to have your arms parallel and palms down, that works too. So you can set it up with your elbows underneath your shoulders, and you can be hugging your elbows towards each other a little bit. Step your legs out. If you need to have your knees on the ground, you can. Lower belly kissing the spine. Now make your spine long here. If your hips are sagging or lifting up, see if you can really stretch out through your heels. Roll your shoulder blades down your back. Breathing here. Now pelvic floor rises right through the crown of your head. Lower belly kissing the spine, and it should take some strength to be here. Lower belly kissing the spine. Sides of the waist long. Make it a core exercise. Hug your core on all sides. Tailbone long. Lower belly kissing the spine. Stay with it for 3. Big breath. 2. 1. Awesome. And let's come into a small child's pose. So big toes touching, knees touching. Hands can come by your pinky toes. And then curl into yourself. Like a little hug, returning back to that first posture that you knew so well in your mama's womb. And then slowly rising up. And we'll go into, some people call this omega pose, with your feet quite far out to the front. You can come up onto the fronts of your sit bones, reach your arms up, look up, spin your palms to face up and bow. So this is different than butterfly pose with your heels really close to your pelvis. It's actually a longer diamond than it is wide. So just take a moment to set that up. Turn your palms to face up and let your spine curl. And this posture is more a surrendering, a releasing of tension, of muscular engagement. There may be a little lift in the pelvic floor, lower belly kissing the spine, but other than that, the process is really letting your head go completely. Enjoying a big sigh out through your mouth or a breath trail here. Feel that pelvic floor lifting, lower belly kissing the spine. Really smush the front of your body into the back of your body as you roll up, and let your head be last. Take your time. You can use your hand right above your pubic bone to draw in and up and create that quality of support. Remind yourself to create that quality of support for yourself. Steady. Centered, with dignity across your chest. Come back to that vertical line. Awesome, and then stretch your legs out. I'm just going to turn to face you so we can see each other better. And then you're going to bring your right foot with the sole of the foot into your upper inner thigh. You can get right up onto your sit bones, and if it works better for you when you're doing a forward bend to have a little cushion or a little block under your hips, go for it. So Janu Shirshasana A. You can use your outer hand, this left hand on the outside, fingertips on the ground. Right hand I like to have on the outside of the thigh or outside of the leg to help turn the center of the chest and the eyes to the big toe. So that's the alignment. It is a bit of a twist. And then open across your chest, peel your shoulders back and bow. Inhale, uncurl. And bow. So make it like a wave. You can even exaggerate it in a bit of a clowny way. Exhale. One more time. And exhale. You can use that right hand on the pinky toe side of your foot if you can reach that way. It just kind of depends on the mechanics of your body. Open across your chest and bow. Let your head go for one breath. Lower belly kissing the spine. Feel the sides of the waist long and let your head go. Now use that right hand to draw a huge rainbow up and around you. I have a wall here, so I've got to make my rainbow a little bit less wide. Fingertips float down. Move your left hand onto your knee. Press your left sits bone down. So you're really sitting on both sit bones. Your pelvis is stable. get vertical over top of your pelvis, and then twist around that vertical channel. Peel your right shoulder back, and then check to see, look back and see if your left foot is awake. Keep your left foot flexed gently and vertical, so the toes are pointing up. And then look, as you look back, spin that left palm to face up, press it into the inside of your leg, and then you might even be the elbow presses in to wrap that left rib cage underneath your right, and then reach that right arm up and over for a side stretch if you want. If that doesn't feel good, you can just keep your hand behind you or even stretching behind you. It's like a twist, and that left rib cage is sliding underneath your right. Peel your shoulders back, reaching, and if you want a little bit more of a stretch here, you can actually widen out your knee wider, and then try the same stretch. For me, that feels really good. I can press that right knee down more. So for the hypermobile or really flexible, try that. Spin that left rib cage under your right, and then slowly come up and stretch your legs out, give them a good shake, and then we'll go to the other side. Yes. Bringing your your left foot into your upper inner thigh, both sit bones root down, lift your rib cage up off your hips and turn your belly button, rib cage, eyes to your big toe. This right hand comes out to the side, peel your shoulders back, and exhale, bow. Finding that balance of not rushing yourself, but also keeping the life force moving through you. So if you ever need to move slower so that you can stay connected and protect yourself from injury, do it. If you're getting too tired or run down from going too fast, slow down. But if you're starting to check out or get bored, see if you can really stay awake. Pay attention to the details, to the subtle quality of how and why you're doing what you're doing, and bring that objective observation of the physical sensations. Observe the quality and the rhythm of your breath, and actively cultivate the presence, the swirling life force body that holds your physical body with your personal space. Plump out your personal space and charge it full of life force on purpose. That's your new responsibility. Your state is your responsibility. Root down through your right sits bone and your left sits bone. Lift your rib cage up off your hips. If you're 100% responsible for your state, then you're free, because nobody else can dictate it for you. Or if you notice that's happening, you take it back, you take your power back, and you reclaim responsibility for your state whenever you can. Lift your rib cage up off your hips, and you grow your capacity to be able to do that. Peel that left shoulder back, look back at your front foot, spin the palm to face up, use your hand or your elbow pressing into your leg. Top hand can be on your hip, and then peel your shoulders back, maybe reach that top arm up and over. Again, for those of you that have really open or hypermobile joints, you can try that knee a little bit wider, and then same thing, press your elbow onto the inside of your leg, spin that rib cage, right rib cage underneath your left, and stretch. Root down through that left outer hip and stretch through your fingertips. Slowly coming back up. Awesome. Stretching your legs out, and we will do butterfly pose as our last posture before we go into a well-deserved Savasana. So the soles of the feet together. I like drawing a line from knee to heel, to ankle to knee. That feels good for me, but some people like to hug their feet right in, but that doesn't feel so good for my knees. So you can check what feels best for you. Come up onto the fronts of your sit bones. If you can't, you can always sit on a cushion or a block. Now start with your fingertips behind you. For every forward bend, I always recommend starting by tipping the pelvis forward first. So it's almost like your pubic bone is gonna move down first, and that starts the chain of reaction. Instead of, just watch for a sec, instead of I move my chin first or I move my shoulders first. Keep the head, the chin, the shoulders back, and start with your pubic bone going down first. And hands can be behind you. Now, it doesn't look like I'm doing much, but I've already got an excellent stretch in my hips. So you can play with this. It might not look like much, but you can play with having your hands behind you. And instead of hunching forward, get a great hip opening right here. So if when you're in yoga classes, you stop worrying what it looks like in terms of is it impressive to the outside eye, but actually do you feel a quality of integrity and dignity in your posture and alignment? And then do you feel like what your intention is to open, let's say it's your hips, is that happening? So here, I feel like that's happening. I can go all the way down, and there's a slightly different stretch, so there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't want to do that and compromise my integrity. So you can do it with a really long spine, and then on purpose, you can actually curl your spine. So try coming back up again, tuck your tailbone under, lift your pubic bone up, and this time actually aim the crown of the head towards your big toes. It's a different stretch, but it is an actual yoga posture. Pelvic floor keeps rising up, slowly coming all the way back and up to vertical. Hands on your knees, peel your shoulders back, and use your hands to bring your knees back together. And hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a warm hug. Oh, myself. Really making friends with yourself. If you think of like the best friend you've ever had, or mentor, or friend, parent, somebody who really loved you and had your back and really liked you, and just like the way they hugged you, you liked it, or when you felt with them, it was like a hug. When you felt like when you were with them, their presence was like a hug. Can you hug yourself like that? Yeah, really giving yourself that quality of friendship, making friends with yourself. So take your time now and unwind into Savasana. If there's any last posture, if you're thinking, oh my God, I need a quad stretch, or oh, this needs to happen, you can take 1 minute to do whatever posture you want. As you set up for Savasana, you want your feet about as wide as your mat, turned out. And you want to turn your palms to face up. Instead of having your arms pinched in, let your hands be out to the side. If you need to move yourself so the wall or the cushions or anything else is not in your way, go for it. Enjoy rolling your shoulder blades down your back, palms facing up. Then you can rock your head side to side. Release your jaw. Let the bottom half of your jaw just hang off of your face. Let your eyelids rest heavy over your eyes. And release. So in Savasana, there is this invitation to die. Savasana means corpse pose, so it is an invitation to practice the posture of dying. Not in a morbid sense, but in an invitation to execute your full liberation from suffering successfully so that you practice dying at the end of every yoga practice. You can stay in Savasana, closing your eyes, and it's this quality of surrender. But for you to be able to surrender, there needs to be a quality of safety so that that foundation underneath you is that intrinsic worth, that intrinsic value, that who you are is valid intrinsically. Enjoying leaning back into that possibility, allowing whatever masks or personalities or posturing you might even be really good at to melt and lean back and fade into that quiet, calm foundation. And calling on your connection, whatever it is that you have, to divine order. Whether it's through mathematics, through seeing the web of unity in nature, or being in wonder at how a seed can unfold a flower,
or how a baby can grow inside a womb and become a human being. If you have any sense of faith in the divine order of it all, or a connection to source or to the creative spirit that animates us and that moves you when you are creative, that sense of spark or magic that carries you, inviting your practice to be an opening of a prayerful space of communion with that creative spirit that animates all of nature, that is dancing around you and through you. As if that creative spirit is like waves, gentle, swirling waves that are swirling all around you. Creative resources literally swirling around you on all sides, available to support you, like a fountain of life, like a wellspring of vitality rising up underneath you and through you. So sweet to share this time with you. If you want to continue relaxing, you're sure welcome to. If you're ready to continue with your day, spread your toes and fingers wide. Reach out through your hands, through your toes. Stretch out. Roll over to your right side. You can give yourself a breath or two in a fetal position with your right arm as a pillow. And coming back up to sit. You can sit on a cushion or wherever you need to so your spine is tall. Bring your hands to meet in prayer. Honoring each of you, this powerful, courageous, humble dignity that you're restoring, this integrity, this openness and curiosity to change. So deeply inspiring. Keep moving forward, one moment at a time, one breath at a time, with this intrinsic self-worth as your foundation. Moving into revitalizing your health, bringing awareness to all of your habits and to how you can create that clean slate for yourself, that fountain of life underneath you and around you as you engage in your activities for the day. And as you choose what you're putting into your body, let the fuel be revitalizing and energizing, really nourishing you and giving you what you need to enjoy this process. I love you. I look forward to our one-on-ones. I can't wait. Thank you.